All right, hello once again, Math Leaguers. This is the end. Well, it's not Sunday, but when you're watching this video, it'll be Sunday, the last day of week 2 for session 2. You guys are doing a great job. I'm seeing so many high scores out there and so many great problems coming in. And I also appreciate you guys sending me those screenshots for your bonus tasks and also keeping up on things. If you watch this video, hopefully you're keeping up with the posts, but you may notice there was a mistake on one of the answers this week. So there's a correction box. If you didn't get a chance to get the correction point this week, that's okay. Just send me an email. We'll get you a correction point next week. That was for question 14. Anyway, this is the wrap up for week 2. I'm going to go through a handful of the problems. And I know this was a tough one. Number 4 was a little bit tricky. I kind of wish maybe I would have asked it slightly differently. But there was a guy and he had like 20 candies, 6 gummy bears, 8 sour worms, 4 Jolly Ranchers, and 2 sticks of gum. And the question was, what if he reached into his bag of candy? What would be the probability that he grabbed both sticks of gum? Now, the trick to this one, and this is why I wish I would have asked it maybe differently, is that it kind of works the same as if he had reached in, pulled out a stick of gum, set it off to the side somewhere, and then reached in again and pulled out a stick of gum. And the reason for that is, in order for both of them to be a stick of gum, like if one of them is a stick of gum, then the other one can't be that first stick of gum. It has to be the other stick of gum, okay? It's almost like there's 2 sticks with different colors, the red stick of gum and the blue stick of gum. So if one of them is the red stick of gum, then the other one has to be the blue stick of gum. It can't be the red stick, and vice versa. So anyway, you multiply probabilities. So the chance that any of them in his hand are a stick of gum is 2 out of a possible 20. Okay? And then once one of them in his hand is a stick of gum, then there's only one other stick of gum, and there's only 19 other things because one of them's already a stick of gum. So he's got a 1 out of 19 chance of having it be the second stick of gum. So the probability is 2 out of 20, which is 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 when you reduce it, times 1 over 19 is 1 over 190. Okay? Yeah, next time I probably would be, say, like he'd pull it out, set it to the side, and do it again, or not. Maybe he'd pull it out and put it back in, and that would be a different kind of problem. One is called without replacement, and one is called with replacement. Question number 5 said, the sum of the squares of 2 integers is 193, and the product of the 2 integers is 84, then, gosh, I don't even remember what I asked. I think that what I asked was the sum of the 2 integers. But anyway, there's a really hard way of doing this with substitution, but you're going to get into some really tricky math. So the easiest way, part of doing all these things is for you to get used to and get comfortable with squares and square roots and things like that. So when you go to math contests like math counts and things like that, those are the types of things that are asked all the time. So think about it. The sum of 2 squares is 193. Well, you know all your squares, right? So, is it going to be 36 and something, right? Is it going to be 49 and something? And then the product of 2 numbers is 84. Well, again, 84 doesn't have a lot of factors, right? Like 4 times 21, 7 times 12. All right, so I would do a guess and check on this one. I try 7 times 12 is 84, and then 49 plus 144 is 193. So 49 and 144 is 193. So the two numbers definitely were 7 and 12. And gosh, I don't really have in front of me right now. I think what the question was what is the sum of the two numbers, which would be 19. Okay. But the idea was to find the two numbers. Question 6 was a little tricky. It was kind of cool. It says a number n is equal to twice its reciprocal. Okay, so the reciprocal of any number, the reciprocal of a is 1 over a. Okay, and you might wonder, like, is that really true? Like what's the reciprocal of 2/3? 3/2. Well, 1 over 2/3 is 3/2. Because it's 1 divided by 2/3, which is 1 times the reciprocal, which is 1 times 3/2, which is 3/2. I don't know if I'm talking too fast and too much here. But anyway, the reciprocal of anything is 1 over that thing. So n is equal to twice 1 times n. I multiply both sides by n to clear that n out of there, and I get n squared equals 2. Well, it asks, what's the value of n to the 6th power? Well, again, this is kind of using a little common sense. N to the 6th is n times n times n times n times n times n. Well, here's n squared. N times n times n times n times n times n. We already know n squared is 2, so that's 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. All right? Kind of a cool problem. The next one was hard. All right, number 11 was an octagon. And it said, what is the length of this line, like all the way down here? Okay, and it said that the length of one side of a regular octagon, so regular octagon means all sides are the same, it said was 8 radical 2. Okay, so we know this is 8 radical 2. We also, when I gave the hints video, we learned, when I gave the midweek's hints video, we learned that the interior angle of an octagon is 135. Okay, n minus 2 times 180 divided by n comes out to 135. N minus 2 times 180 is the sum of all angles, and then divide by the number of angles, and that came out to 135. And then, if we make a 90-degree angle there, but this whole angle is 135, I know this is kind of hard and small to see, but this is a 45-degree angle here. Because if we take 90 away from 135, we get 45, okay? So, the other thing that you have to know, in a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, it's one of your special right triangles, that the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times the length of a leg. So if this is 8 radical 2 or 8 square root of 2, then this is 8. So is this 8. I know I didn't draw it great. So now, this length here is 8. This length down here is 8. Okay, this length here is the length of the side, which is 8 radical 2. So the length of the line is 8 plus 8 plus 8 radical 2. Radical 2 is about 1.41. 16 plus 8 times about 1.41 is 16 plus about 11.3. It said round to the nearest whole number, so that was 27. All right, and then I'm going to do the problem that I made the mistake on. Well, and the problem before it. So, problem 13 was a problem about pizza, and you could make a 2-topping pizza, but you couldn't double up. This was problem 13. You couldn't double up, and there were 8 toppings to choose from. All right? So if you're not allowed to double up, like a pepperoni is not considered a 2-topping pizza. Well, the fastest way to do it is to say, well, topping number 1, topping number 2. How many choices are there for topping number 1? 8. How many choices are there for topping number 2? 7. 8 times 7 is 56. But if you do it like that, what that's saying is that pepperoni sausage and sausage pepperoni are 2 different pizzas, but they're not. Pepperoni and sausage pepperoni are the same pizza. So when you do it like this with the little slots, you have to divide by the factorial of the amount of ways you can rearrange the things. And you can rearrange 2 things in 2 ways. This way, that way, or that way, this way. So 56 divided by 2 is 28. Now also there's this formula, which is in sort of your math must-knows, NCR. N choose R, same thing, 8 choose 2, which is 8 factorial over 2 factorial divided by 8 minus 2, which is 6 factorial. Well, 8 factorial is the 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4. Sorry. 3 times 2 times 1 all over. I'm going to skip this for a second. 6 factorial. 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And all those cancel. And then I'm going to put in the 2 factorial, which is 2. So again, we get 28. Now the problem was, on number 14, I just put the answer in wrong. And the problem on 14 was, well, what if pepperoni was considered a 2-topping pizza? What if sausage and sausage was considered a 2-topping pizza? Well, that's simple. If there's 8 toppings, then we just added 8 more pizzas, right? Pepperoni, sausage, mushroom, onion, whatever it is you put on your pizza. So it was the 28 that we had plus 8. And I don't know what I did. I just typed it in wrong. I put 32 in the answer box, which obviously wasn't right. So if you need a correction this week, get a correction this week. All right? Great job. And again, if there's ever a problem, I noticed on the wrap-up videos, I think because I'm putting the answers online, not everybody is, we're not getting as many views on the wrap-up videos, which is fine, it's great. But if there's ever a problem where you're like, I just don't understand that one, and I didn't do it on the hints or the wrap-up or anything like that, always feel free to email or let us know. And great job, and we'll see you for week 3.